The Cove started when I first met Rick O'Barry. He was supposed to be the keynote speaker at a convention that I was attending on marine mammals, and he didn't show up because the event sponsor, SeaWorld, wouldn't let him talk. So I gave him a call up and said, Rick, why don't you let you speak? And he said, well, they were going to let me talk about this dolphin slaughter in Taiji. And I said, dolphin slaughter, what's that about? Rick was the guy who trained the original 5 female dolphins that collectively played the part of Flipper. He says in the film that he spent 10 years building up the captive dolphin industry, and he spent the last 35 years trying to tear it down. He's the hero of our film, and he's my personal hero. He calls himself a reformed dolphin trainer. Instead of, catching them in the wild and putting them into a concrete tank, he recaptures them out of a concrete tank and puts them back into the wild. When I went to the Cove with Rick O'Barry, he said that activists have been trying for decades to get in there. And everybody that he's brought there, they all come away empty-handed. And I've been a journalist for 35 years, and one thing you learned about being a journalist is that you should always be a fly on the wall. You shouldn't be, become part of the story or influence the subject so you become part of the story. But in this case, I realized that this atrocity would keep on going if somebody didn't step up and try to stop this. Initially, we weren't going to be making a movie about us trying to get into the Cove. That was actually B-roll. We were shooting it for B-roll for like the making of. And our editors were like, Jesus, you guys are nuts. If we add that component into it, then we don't have a documentary, just a normal documentary, we have a thriller.
Luis Ahoyos has one of the most amazing eyes, and this always goes big and bad, and will sacrifice nothing to get the shot.
It's just a great movie. It's incredibly important, I think. It's also incredibly entertaining. It's got this thriller aspect to it, and Rick O'Barry is just an incredible guy who's doing inspiring work that I think everybody should see. It makes you want to go out and do something.
I thought it was a very hard-working piece of journalism. I didn't know about this dolphin issue before this, and now I will.
Louis shows that people can make a difference if they're persistent and believe in what they want to do and just pure.
It affects you emotionally. It's funny. It's captivating. It's all you can use all those quotes on the poster. Ben Stiller says it's captivating.
I think that people feel a connection to dolphins and whales because we're cousins. Those are our aquatic cousins. I was diving with the resident pod off the coast of Rangiroa, and just hanging out in the blue, these dolphins came by, they swam around, and then they took off, and there's like this sadness, this rush of sadness. You get, the dolphins left. Then I went to see that I looked out in the blue, and I saw that they were all attacking this great hammerhead that was coming my way. I don't want to say that they were rescuing me, but they were definitely pushing this animal away from me. So I thought, well, I don't know. I feel a kinship with these animals, that I don't feel with any other kind of wild animal. I'm not a traditional filmmaker. I told my whole crew that we're not making a movie. We're trying to start a movement. And we didn't have traditional filmmakers on the crew. We didn't need filmmakers. We needed pirates. The joke on the set was, we're all professionals, just not at this. All the dolphin meat that's been tested in the last 10 years that I know is toxic. Not just toxic with mercury, but cadmium, lead. They find Prozac, trace levels of Prozac. I mean, everything you dump down the toilet or the sink finds its way into a dolphin. These heavy metals, these really heavy contaminants, unfortunately, a lot of them are immortal elements. They don't disappear. They don't get passed through the liver very easily. They stop there, and they get biomagnified up the food chain. All we're asking the Japanese government to do is don't allow this poison to be out in the market. It's not just a crime against these sentient creatures. It's a crime against humanity. The people from Japan that have seen this movie are just as shocked as the Westerners are. They don't know this is going on. This movie is not an indictment against the Japanese people. There's only a few people actually involved with the dolphin hunting. I say that, and then there's also the Japanese government that's complicit in helping them, cover it up. dolphins are toxic because of what we're dumping in the environment. You know, we're burning a lot of fossil fuels. Mercury's rising 1.5 to 3% a year every year since the Industrial Revolution. And we've got to change the way that we get our energy. Otherwise, it's not just dolphins and whales that are becoming toxic, it's all the things we like to eat. What might actually save dolphins now is the fact that human beings are making them so toxic that they're inedible. I think of filmmaking as like, one of the greatest tools that mankind has come up with to actually invoke change in people. It's a weapon of mass construction. I've probably seen the movie, I don't know, at least 100 times since Sundance. The last 20 minutes of the film, I always love to watch it because I think there's something epic about it. People are laughing, then they're crying, and then they're cheering, and then at the end of the movie, they're asking what they can do to help. The more people that see this movie, the more, I don't know, it's like an army, like an army of environmentalists. And people that see the movie gets charged up, they want to do something. The easiest way to do something is do it yourself, don't wait for anybody else to do it, to start. And so this movie is a way to sort of, get an environmental army out there to help save the planet.